Hey everybody, this is Bianchi. We're looking at number 9. Lots going on in this question. So let's take a look. Aaron's heart beats 166 times in 120 seconds. So do you see how I organized the workspace with all the people's names, and I wrote the ratio for each person for beats per second. And remember, we want to find the beats per 1 second. So if we go move on and read the next part, we have Callie's heart beats 88 times in 60 seconds. So I have that right here. Emma's heart beats 48 times in 30 seconds. So there it is in the workspace. Galen's heart beats 22 times in 15 seconds. So there's the ratio there. So in all cases, we have the option of just simply figuring out the unit rate and comparing those numbers. Now, the problem with this is that the numbers are going to get a little ugly and unpleasant to divide. And if you don't have a calculator or you're not allowed to use a calculator, that could be a problem, because what you can see here is if we were going to use the algorithm for it, we would have to divide both of these values by 20 to get, how many beats it is in 1 second. And if we did that and we did 166 and divide it by 20, that could be a little cumbersome. So I want to show you another strategy. Now, one of the things that you want to consider, since some of the computations can get a little bit ugly, you want to consider simplifying ratio. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. This ratio right here, you could simplify. And as it turns out, 6 would go into both of these. That's the GCF of this number and this number. If I divide this by 6, I get 8. And if I divide this by 6, I get 5. So that's really an 8 to 5 ratio. Now, in this case, that would be a little bit more user-friendly. If we had to do 8 divided by 5 to get how many beats per 1 second, that wouldn't be horrible to do that. But I can tell you this. If you divide this out, some people get a little bit confused. All right, but that you could finish that and that would work out, and that wouldn't be too horrible because that would give you the beats per 1 second. Now, what you might consider doing instead of all this, let me see if I can get out of that. I hate that when that opens up. Oh, okay, there it goes. All right, so what might be an easier way to do this is if you take each answer choice. So let's take these two people, right? So Aaron, he was 166 beats in 120 seconds. And if we compare that to this person, right? So that's 22 beats per 15 seconds. What might be faster than figuring out the unit rate, although this would work, is you could just compare the cross products. So look for opportunities to reduce, because that would make your cross products a little bit easier. But if you didn't see how to simplify that, then you would find what 166 times 15 is. Now, in the interest of saving time, I'm going to use a calculator. So 166 times 15 gives us this number. So 2,490. So the question becomes, is this cross product also going to equal this number? Because if it does, then we're going to say these two have equal ratios and equal heartbeats. So we're going to find this number times this number. In the interest of saving time, we'll use a calculator. 120 times 22. We're multiplying these two numbers together, and we get this value, 2,640. 2,640. Now, because these two numbers are not the same, that would imply that these ratios are not equal, and therefore their heart rates, right? Because they want to know equivalent heart rates. They're not equal. Now, if you divided this out and you divided the 22 divided by 15, if you divided that out, you would end up not getting the same unit rate. And that would be yet another way. You would have to, throw a 0 on here, and you would have to do the same here, and you would be, maybe out to the hundreds place or farther. But you would find that this value and this value would not match for beats per 1 second. So that would be another way that you could eliminate that as being a choice. So that's off the list as being a choice. So another strategy is to take Emma. Her value is, and let's use the simplified version of it, the 8 to 5. So we're exploring choice B right now, everybody. And let's take Galen's is a 22 to 15. 22 to 15. And let's look at the cross products for that. And again, we'll use a calculator just to speed things up. So let's examine, let's do this cross product first, the 8 times 15. And if we figure out what 8 times 15 is, that wouldn't be horrible if you didn't have a calculator. But we get 120 using the calculator. And you want to compare that to 5 times 22. 5 times 22. 5 times 22. And we get this number. Now, because these two numbers don't match, then the ratios would be not equal. So that means that that's a no. Cross it off the list. So what do you have to do? When you find two ratios that the cross products match, then you would say that those two individuals have the same heart rate or equivalent heart rate. Or if you're going to go ahead and finish dividing, if you prefer that method, then what you'll need to do is you'll need to find what 88 divided by 60 is. So that's 88 divided by 60, and throw a decimal on there and raise it in your quotient. So find all these quotients if you're not comfortable using the cross products, or on your piece of paper, you're going to show the cross products and you're going to take each answer choice and compare the cross products and figure out which ones have matching cross products, and leave the evidence on your paper of which ones have matching cross products. All right, good luck finishing that up.